Hey peeps, I'm so excited to actually get a chance to sit down and record. The weather has been so bad over the last few weeks that Vincent has had a lot of 2-hour school delays and cancellations, and so recording has been a little bit tricky. But here we are. We had a 2-hour delay today, but we had school, so we get a chance to record. I'm very, very excited to do that. And as Vincent would say, I'm definitely feeling a little bit extra today, so I'm sure it's going to be a chatty video. But it's wonderful to be able to sit and hang out with you guys for a little while and talk about tarot. So incidentally as well, I've been trying some shinier lipsticks and we're seeing how we feel about it. I don't know. I'm typically a traditional matte girl. I don't know. We'll see. Today I'm trying the NYX Shine Out Loud in, I don't even know what color this is. Oh God, I know some of you are going to ask me and I don't see it on here. On a Mission? Yes, Shine Loud On a Mission by NYX. And have to say that it's not my favorite formulation. I definitely prefer the Lady Gaga one over this for shine and durability, whatever. But this is not a makeup video, this is a tarot video, so I will stop. I digress, but I don't know. I don't know how I feel about shiny lips. I got to sit with it some more. But today I wanted to talk about the Star card in tarot. I had mentioned in a recent video that I really wanted to just discuss how my experience with the Star card has been evolving over time. And so I wanted to share that today. Hold on guys, Gracie's barking. Okay, I think Gracie finished protecting the house. So anyhow, I wanted to talk about the Star card. I had recently, as I said, mentioned this in a video that I wanted to talk about it, and some of you said, yes, you're absolutely on board for hearing my kind of updated thoughts. So that's what we're going to talk about today. And I'm going to be showing you an image of the Star card from the Pulp Tarot because I've been hella obsessed with the Pulp Tarot again right now. I've been working with it a lot, both in client readings and personally, and just really enjoying the vibe of the Pulp Tarot. It fits my mood right now. It fits my everything red and black, which is kind of what I always come back to mode. So yeah, the Star. The Star is one of those cards that for me, you know, when I first started really reading tarot, I struggled with like, what the fuck? This card, much like the Justice card, right? It's like the air cards, the air element cards are just tricky for me. But this card was one where I was like, okay, I get that it's like returning to faith, returning to hope, returning to trust after the Tower. You know, it's realizing that while you've been through a harrowing or chaotic experience, there's another side, and that your faith pays off. Your faith, the foundations, the core that you come back to pays off. Now, incidentally, it's also read traditionally as the birth card of Aquarius. And so there's a lot of energy around insight that comes in with this card too. And so I would say while I started reading it as faith and hope, faith, hope, and trust, I also started to step into, over the years and over time, an understanding of the card as this kind of insight and intellectual understanding marrying with that faith. And, you know, when you have had a harrowing experience and lived through it, come through to the other side, seen the wisdom and the lessons of the experience, you build your faith and trust in the divine because you've seen that you've made it through to the other side and that there was wisdom to extract from the experience, or certainly that you've grown in some way from it, right? So I really started to read this card that way, as well as this card being a significator for Aquarians, either in the Aquarian's life or within their own placements in their birth chart as well. So, you know, I didn't have a fractious relationship with this card. I just kind of felt like meh with it, right? I didn't have like a really big experience or understanding with the Star card other than, you know, working with it in its traditional meanings and what does it represent when it's compiled with other cards. You know, I also think faith is something that's a little tricky for those of us who've had really intense experiences with religion. And so this is one of those cards that I certainly am like, ooh, a little bit hands off with from that perspective, right? But what I've really come to understand this card meaning over the last year especially is our light when we are in alignment with our purpose. And I think you can go back to the sign of Aquarius, which is very much a community-driven sign. It's also a sign that, in my experience over the years reading, those with significant Aquarius placements in their charts tend to be, and I can say this because my son has some Aquarius placements as well, tend to be people who are very much longing to act in alignment with their purpose, discover their purpose, and then act in alignment with that purpose. And there's an element of, because we are working with, to use the word element again, the air element, there's also an element of communication, right? And when we think of the star, and when we think of like old Hollywood stars, right, we do think of being seen. What does it mean to be seen is something that I've done a lot of personal journaling around with the star card over the last year. What does it mean to be seen? And what does it mean to be seen when we're in our element, when we are living our purpose, and when we feel fulfilled in our path? So I started to really look at these layers to the star. And, when we connect with fulfillment and purpose and allowing our light to shine, we can take that back to the biblical reference of hiding your light under a bushel and how that doesn't serve anyone, right? So when the star card is drawn now, I am looking at how does my client or myself want to be seen right now? How are we being perceived? And are we letting the light of our own authenticity and truth shine? Perhaps we've just moved through a period of transformation and we're really feeling grounded in our own skin, grounded in who we are, and feeling comfortable allowing others to see and experience us within our truth. And how is that received by others, right? Largely, the star is viewed as a positive card. And so it may be that people are in a space where they're able to receive our authenticity in really exciting ways. And perhaps we are feeling more comfortable and confident in being seen. So maybe we're putting ourselves out there in a way where other people are experiencing us, those that we know and or don't know personally, right? Maybe we're putting ourselves out there online in a video format or through social media or through sharing a truth or opinion or an experience with others in a public way, right? These are all fascinating ways that I've come to understand a star can work for us in a spread and in a reading. It may be that it's time to share our truth about something, to share even maybe nitty-gritty details or things that feel uncomfortable but are part of our story that we're ready to reveal. And maybe it's also just that sense of connection we have when we're embodied in our purpose and other people are having that experience with us. And that's a reciprocal giving and taking experience, right? Or perhaps I should say giving and receiving of energy, of someone's presence and how that's reflected back to you, and then you reflecting back how you experience that individual, right? Through your witnessing. So the star can also hold a component of the witness within it as well. And that is something that I always think of the Mystical Shaman Oracle with the witness card whenever I say that, because I find that card to be so potent. I also think of the Tori Amos album Scarlet's Walk and the witnessing that album represents. Witnessing isn't about judging. It's about staying present and really seeing. And when we look at a star, at the star, when we witness ourselves or another in their truth, that's really potent medicine. And it does require us to be grounded, which experiences like the tower, which precedes the star, open us up to. because when we get stripped bare, then we discover who we really are, and we discover what we're made of and what matters to us. And if we are all made of stars, then there is divinity that we are, that makes us up, and that all others are made up of as well. So there's just a potency to the star. You know, there's a sweetness, there's an innocence to the star, but there's also a potency to the fulfillment and the embodiment of our purpose, the embodiment of our path that the stars come to represent for me. So now when I read with a star, I'm looking at how is my client, or how am I, if it's a personal reading for myself, being given an opportunity to shine here. And how can I really step into that and embrace that? Perhaps the shining is happening, to reference Stephen King, perhaps the shining is happening in regards to our psychic abilities there. I'll just go with that shining reference. Or perhaps the shining is happening in regards to us receiving an opportunity or a promotion at work that allows us to really put out there what we believe in and what we bring to the table when it comes to our professional self. Perhaps the star is us shining in regards to a connection, a new friendship or relationship where another person is really entranced by who we are, and we are entranced by experiencing their light, their shining as well, right? So we can look at these components within a reading. And we can also look at the star as what we come back to in those moments when we are stripped bare. What is the inner truth, the inner light within us that no one, what is the sacred flame within us that no one can take away, that no experience or pain can remove and strip away from us? That light is an eternal flame. That's the divinity. That's the soul, the spirit that cannot be killed and cannot be taken from us. It's inviolably ours, right? So these things now come up for me when I work with the star. The stars become much more of a fleshed out card. It's not only about faith, hope, and trust, but it's also about allowing ourselves to shine, looking at what makes us shine, and exploring where we are fulfilled in our experience and what we can say yes to that's entering into our experience so that we can grow and be more in alignment with the purpose that is the reason for our incarnation at this time. So these are ways in which my connection with the star card has shifted over time. And I'd love to hear yours, your experiences with the star. Feel free to share down below, and I'll be sure to stop on by and read what you guys are experiencing with the star as well. I hope you are doing well out there in the world. As always, I am sending you much love and many blessings, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care.